Hey guys, tired of feeling stuck in your dating life and striking out in the dating game? You're not alone. Maybe you just need some good coaching. Welcome to Just Ask Her, the no BS podcast for real dating advice straight from a woman's point of view. Dating expert Gracie Pleschourt and her co-host, certified life coach Tracy Pleschourt, are here to give you the play-by-play on how to attract more women you're interested in. So, let's take back control of your dating life. This is Just Ask Her.
Welcome back to Just Ask Her, the podcast that helps you date with confidence, connect with real women, and finally feel in control of your dating life. I'm your host, Gracie, here with my mom, co-host, and certified life coach, Tracy. We're excited to be back for another episode.
Yes, we are.
Back from Ireland.
Back from Ireland. It was so fun.
Did we even say that we were going to Ireland on the last one?
I think so, because I think we talked about my Irish heritage. Yeah. I was thinking about what did we actually do there? The purpose that we went was a mastermind, but we slept a lot because
that jet lag was rough. I actually have never experienced that before.
Yeah, me either. I pride myself on the fact that I'm an early bird and I make the most of my days, and waking up and realizing it's like 11 a.m. What the hell? Like half our day is gone. How did that just happen? Both of us did that.
We didn't sleep. It was an overnight flight. We got to our hotel around noon, took like a couple hour nap, and then we were having a hard time trying to fall asleep that night. And so at like 1 or 2 in the morning, we both took Tylenol PM. That was a huge mistake. Like it literally knocked us out. And we slept until 11:30, which I don't think I've ever slept till 11:30 in my entire life. It was insane.
Yeah. And then it's been a little bit of an adjustment getting back on track now that we both got sick. I think they can probably hear it in our voices.
Yeah. Feeling better now. And it was definitely worth the trip out there. We'll give you more details at the end. We thought it'd be fun to give you our 2 cents on Ireland towards the end so that we can get into the submissions right away. Anybody that wants to stick around afterwards, you can hear our take on Ireland.
Because we did run a poll and we did see that over half of you would prefer to have a little bit of personal banter. So we're going to be mindful of that, but we'll put it at the end. And if you don't want to hear it, then you can
skip on off.
Take what you want and come back next week. All right. So submission number 1 is from Diego, and it says, "Hi, Gracie and Tracy. I'm hoping for guidance on a confusing situation. I'm a 30-year-old delivery driver and freelance software developer from Canada. Music and skateboarding are also big parts of my life. A few weeks ago, I went on a date with a woman I connected with. She said I was her type and encouraged me to take the lead. However, she suddenly pulled back and even unfollowed me on Instagram. I'm struggling to understand why. I've tried giving space and focusing on myself, but I can't stop thinking about her. How should I handle this? Is it appropriate to reach out after she's pulled away? How can I balance giving space and managing my own feelings?"
I don't know. When we get submissions like this, I have a hard time not going to what's missing in the story. I do think that this happens. Girls will ghost in what seems like out of nowhere. And then when I'm working with my clients and we actually look at it, usually there is something in there that they didn't realize was a problem. Like a message they sent, say they were trying to be funny and it came off as offensive. It always comes from a good place. Like it's never meant maliciously. It's never obviously meant to turn the woman away, but it happens so frequently. It leaves guys feeling really confused. What the hell just happened? She told me the other day and I was trying to be playful. And then all of a sudden she's gone and I'm blocked on everything. The only time that I've ever blocked somebody was for a good reason. Like they've done something to earn that, or they were being inappropriate or rude. So it doesn't just happen out of nowhere in my head. The pattern that I'm seeing is usually it's coming from a place of trying to be funny or cute, or you were trying to put your best foot forward and get a date set up, maybe overdoing it a little bit, or not understanding that whatever you said could be taken offensively. And I was looking at a client's messages, like his opening messages that he was sending out on Hinge. And he was like, "I don't get it. I'm sending out messages. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I don't get any responses back." When I went back and looked at some of his messages, some of them could be seen. Like I would take offense to some of the messages he was sending out. And it's not because he was intending to be rude, but the one that sticks out in my head was a picture of a girl with 2 of her friends. And his opening message was something along the lines of, "Don't even try to tell me that this was taken in one go. You guys obviously did a full shoot to get this one photo. it's not like that was meant to be rude. And to a lot of guys listening to this, they're like, I don't get what's the problem with that. But for something that like, especially women like are sensitive about, like the reason we take so many photos is because we're insecure. Like, just to be honest, like the reason we take so many photos is because we want to look good. And if she's putting it on her dating profile, she especially wants it to look good. Calling out what could be an insecurity could be taken a lot more offensively than you intended. That's the trouble with like the messaging. That's why I always tell guys, like, you want to get on the date and then show that side of you, like that banter and the playfulness and the sarcasticness. Because in messages, especially when she doesn't know you, it can come off in a way that you don't intend, and it can send her the other direction. And unfortunately, this is the other piece to it. It's like, if women didn't have such a high volume of men in their DMs on the apps and things like that, then she probably would take more time to actually think about, did he mean this in a mean way, or ask you? But because women have the luxury of not having to like even consider it, they'll just move on.
My brain went to, I understand why the ghosting happens, because I think it almost always has way more to do with her than it does with the guy. The ghosting is probably a result of her emotional availability, her readiness. Fast. Attraction can be there, but all of the other things shift so fast. So the ghosting makes sense to me, but the blocking doesn't. I'm glad you explained that, because I was sitting here scratching my head too, going, okay, she says that she wants him to take the lead, and then the next move is her blocking him? Like, what? So you're probably right. There's probably more to the story that, you know,
that he's not seeing as a problem. On the surface, it's probably not. But when you put it into context of dating, trying to pursue somebody you're interested in, especially women, you do have to be a little bit more sensitive to the way that you're interacting, especially in those initial stages. Like, you're still getting to know each other. She doesn't know your personality well enough. She doesn't know your sense of humor well enough. And this is like all speculation, right? There are instances where women just block out of nowhere. That makes zero sense. If she's not emotionally stable, usually there's something that triggered that.
Diego asked how to balance giving space with managing his feelings. The truth is, I don't think you do balance them. You just allow them both to be there. You can feel the frustration and the confusion or the loss. That is really what being a self-made man is, being able to allow those feelings. What you don't do is turn those feelings into a job, like trying to fix them or getting closure by pursuing some sort of response. Reaching out after she's pulled away isn't necessarily wrong, but if you're going to do it, you've got to do it from a clean space, not desperation, frustration, or resentment. You can say something like, I enjoyed getting to know you, no pressure to reconnect. I just wanted to wish you well.
I don't know that I would reach back out at this point.
You wouldn't?
I don't think so.
I guess I don't see any harm in it for his closure.
But it is closure. I mean, if she pulled back out of seemingly nowhere, I do get it. Usually you're not going to get a straight answer. Like, even if you did go back.
I'm not telling him to ask for a response.
But then what closure does he really need?
In my mind, it's a way to signal to your brain that this is complete. Like, he's being able to just say goodbye,
don't you feel
wish
like
you
he
well.
can just do that anyways?
Yeah.
Without sending a message?
For sure. But he specifically asked us, how do I
handle this?
Balance giving space with managing my feelings. And so I'm trying to give him an exercise to manage his feelings.
I just feel like sending a message is almost giving him hope that she's going to open the door back up. And it just doesn't seem like we're at that point anymore. If she went from so hot to so cold, like, I just don't usually, like, this doesn't come back around. Like, usually that door is shut. If she blocked you, whether it was warranted or not, I think sending another message out is probably only going to do him a disservice, because he's going to be sitting there thinking about, oh, what should I say in the message? And how long do I give this before then deciding that this is officially done? I would just decide now that it is what it is. It's a good learning opportunity.
And it did bring you clarity. you can either frame this as I'm confused and I feel rejected, or you can frame this as this is the clarity that I needed. It's a gift. And the fact that you're still thinking about her shows that you deeply cared. And she's not somebody that maybe you thought she was, which may have been somebody you wanted to pursue a longer relationship with.
Yeah. I think the only way that I would ever consider opening this door back up is if you ran into her in person for some reason. But even then, I don't want you to hear me say that and then be like, hold out hope. Because I've been there before where I've been like, I'm shutting the door and the only way that this door is opening back up is if I happen to run back into him in our town. And then there's hope again. I do think if it's ever going to open back up, it should be in a natural way. It should be in a setting where if she's open to conversation, it'll be obvious. And if she's not, it'll be obvious. That is the only circumstance I would consider opening it back up. But for now, I just feel like this is your closure. It's unfortunate and it doesn't make it any easier to say this is your closure, but I think this can be a really good learning opportunity.
One of the lessons I strongly recommend taking away from this is that this is part of the process. It's crazy to me that 1 in 4 people report being ghosted. 1 in 4 people who are currently in the dating scene.
It's just way too easy to do.
That's what this culture has evolved to.
Yeah.
It's so fast paced, and women especially have so much access that it is easy for them to do. They don't have to feel bad about rejecting somebody or declining. They just get to ignore them and
get a dopamine hit somewhere else.
Like it does go both ways. I'm not saying women don't get ghosted.
I've been ghosted before.
1 in 4 people report being ghosted who are currently in the dating scene, and that number goes up to 3 in 4 if you're on the dating apps.
Dating apps, it happens every single day. It's because there just isn't enough connection built. There is no loyalty to somebody you don't even know. A complete stranger on the apps is easy for people to start a conversation and then just leave it out of nowhere because there's always other conversations rolling in the background, specifically for dating apps. You get off the dating apps and you've been on a couple of dates. Even that, you're still kind of considered strangers, even though it's not the right thing to do. It's not the right way to handle it. And I think it says so much more about the other person and where their emotional availability is and how they choose to handle conflict or tough conversations. It says so much more about them than it does you. And that doesn't make it easier either. It's unfortunate. And I wish we could collectively move away from that being the norm. But you know, that is part of dating. You do have to have thick skin because it doesn't mean anything negative about you or your value. How could it? She barely knew you. This is different than if you were in a 5-year relationship with somebody and they ghost you. That's something I would hold weight to and really analyze. But outside of that, there just isn't enough. Like, she doesn't know you really. Right. And so how could it be about you or your value or what you bring to the table when she's as good as a stranger?
Yeah. And truly, that's why this podcast exists, is because we recognize how many men are suffering unnecessarily, trying to figure out what happened. It's actually not your job at this point to figure that out. Your job is to learn how to respond. And it even looks different than I think most men think. The response is asking yourself, how do I want to feel? How do I want to think about this? How can I frame this so that I have momentum in my dating life, not roadblocks? So that's why we do what we do. And if you find that you are consistently struggling with this, you can't get out of that thought loop of I'm doing something wrong, it's all about me, I can't break out of failed attempts in dating, then reach out to get help. If that is something that you are struggling with and you want some help, you're ready to invest in your dating life, in yourself, you want to understand what it means when we say become a self-made man. It has everything to do with taking responsibility for the way you're thinking and feeling, bottom line. And if you want to better understand what that looks like, apply to work with us. We'll put the application in the show notes, and we would love to come alongside you on this journey.
The Self-Made Man Dating Journal is officially live and ready for you to grab on Amazon. This was designed specifically for single men who are serious about improving their dating life. It helps you track your dates, reflect on your experiences, and actually learn from them, so you can stop repeating old patterns and start seeing real progress.
What I love most about this journal is how intentional it is. It's not just about writing down what happened, it's about helping you get clear in what you want, confident in how you're showing up, and connected to what's working and what's not. You'll find daily prompts, weekly reflection pages, and the date log. You'll record everything from how you felt before the date, what went well, what felt off, and what you do differently next time. That kind of self-awareness is what sets successful daters apart. This journal will help you slow down, spot patterns, and become more intentional with every interaction.
We only printed a limited batch for this first run, so if this is something you've been needing, go grab it now before they're gone. We'll drop the link in the show notes and let us know what you think. We love hearing your feedback.
We can't wait for you to start using the Self-Made Man Dating Journal.
Submission 2 was written in by Sam, and it says, in the past 4 years, I have noticed a pattern in which I seem to prepare women for other men. This has been confirmed by several experiences, such as when a woman tells me she's not ready for a relationship only to be in one shortly after, or when she says she's focusing on herself, then gets into a relationship soon after. However, the most memorable instance was in 2021 when I was dating someone who was out of my league. We went on great dates, but then suddenly she stopped talking to me. When I asked if I did something wrong, she replied that a friend had expressed their feelings for her, so she wanted to give that a try. It seems like after going on dates with me, the woman realizes what she wants in a man, then goes after that, leaving me behind. Or another man sees that she's dating again and decides to pursue her, essentially saying, thanks for putting in the effort, I'll take it from here. I have so many thoughts on this.
First off, Sam,
this is such a good submission.
it is good. And I love the fact that he's noticing a pattern. What I don't love is that his brain is making a story that's sabotaging him about this pattern. So when a story plays out similarly a few times, your brain starts to connect the dots and then it starts to create meaning. And it's going to do that from your fear-based brain. So you're going to get all of these very dramatic stories. And the story that your brain is telling you is, I'm the guy who prepares women for other men. But that's
so self-sabotaging.
Yeah. And that's one possible interpretation. It is not a fact. It is not a fact, Sam.
And it's definitely not serving you to tell yourself that story.
So this is the perfect opportunity to rewrite the meaning of those patterns, to rewrite the meaning of your past so that you have a chance at changing your future. Right now, your brain is defining all of those experiences through the lens of loss and inadequacy, but you can also view it as evidence of your emotional availability, your maturity, and your capacity to help women clarify what they want. I think that this could be framed as like skills that you have to really position yourself for healthy future relationships.
Yeah, I think you're so spot on. And I think that this is so interesting because it's...
I'm spot on or Sam's spot on?
You are.
Okay.
You're spot on. I think it's interesting because I know that there's a lot of guys that when I was reading that submission, their heads were nodding along like, yeah, I've been there. Or I feel you. Because I hear this so often.
And I just have to interject. I hear the bruh.
What?
How men always say bruh. They'll say, I feel you, bruh. Instead of bro, they say bruh.
How many men do you speak to that say that to you? I'm really interested in this.
Dad says it often.
Yeah, whatever. Like, actually, who says this to you?
I don't know. I hear it all the time. I heard it in Ireland.
You want to know where she hears it? She spends a lot of time on TikTok.
Wow. Thanks for outing me.
Well, that's just you trying to be in the know on the lingo.
Well, apparently I'm off base, so maybe I need to change the channel.
The only people I hear say that are like guys my age or younger. If I'm being really honest with you, Sam, that there are flags that stand out to me, like she's focusing on herself, you saying that you were dating somebody that was out of your league, or the pattern that you're noticing is that she says she doesn't want a relationship, then gets into a relationship with someone else. I think this is a really good teaching experience because those lines are just excuses. They are a woman's way of letting you down easy, not having to tell you straight to your face that she doesn't want to pursue this anymore. I know that because I've used all of them. And it comes from a place of like I know now that that is wrong, and that you need to be honest about the way that you're feeling towards somebody. This is not just fun and games. This is somebody's real feelings in life. When I was in the dating scene, I was terrified of hurting feelings. And it's like, all that does is just hurt feelings more. I think a lot of women are scared of the outcome of telling you how they really feel. So these excuses of, I just need to focus on myself, I'm not ready for a relationship, we need to slow things down, they're all just excuses. They're all just her trying to slowly move away until this is not a thing anymore. And I'm sorry that has been your experience, but all that tells me is that, one, they either just were not meant to be your person, or you're maybe not connecting with them on a romantic level early enough. If you're having a good couple of first dates that seem good on your end, and then you're constantly hearing like, you're good, but I didn't feel a romantic connection, what this tells me is you're a really good person, Sam. Women actually enjoyed their time with you on dates, and they are fun, but they're not necessarily connecting with you on a romantic level. And that's all that's happening. And that can be changed. I was just working with a client on this yesterday. If you're not connecting on a romantic level, it's usually just a fear or a little bit of discomfort around what it takes to build chemistry. You know, that flirtiness, being more forward when you're out on dates, initiating physical touch. Those are all really important things to be doing on a date. You need to treat a date like you are trying to build a romantic connection. It's not just a get together. It's not just a sit down and have a good time, because she can go do that with anybody. And so if you're trying to build a romantic connection, you got to be doing the things that would lead to that, like the flirting, like the banter, like the physical touch. And if you're not doing those things, you're going to keep having a lot of these same case scenarios where you're going on fun dates and it seems like these girls are enjoying their time with you, and then they're feeling bad after the dates and not wanting to be upfront with you about the fact that they didn't feel anything.
Yeah. So I think all of that is really good advice. And I just kept thinking, okay, from a mental standpoint, that was a lot of great tactical advice.
Mm-hmm.
From a mental and emotional standpoint, what kind of coaching would I give him? Dropping the manual on how he thinks women should act. He thinks that all women that he dates should stay. He thinks that they should be ready to grow the relationship. He thinks that they should see his value immediately.
Yeah. And a manual is just another word for expectations, right?
Yeah.
So you're going in with a lot of these expectations.
Yeah. Think of it as if like a manual on how to build an IKEA bookshelf, or a manual for how to...
When was the last time you built anything from IKEA?
Or read a manual? Never. Yeah. I just go to YouTube and
TikTok, actually.
TikTok, to be frank. So I think everybody knows what a manual is, but we're just trying to give you the visual of having this expectation. It's like literally handing somebody a manual and saying, this is how I want you to act so that I can feel good. And that will never serve you. Most of us as humans don't even realize we're doing that, but it is really the source of most of our pain, because people are not acting the way we want them to. We end up feeling the pain because of that, because we have an expectation. So if you just drop the manual or the expectation, even though those expectations that I just said, that women should recognize your value and that you should believe that they're ready to grow with you and that they should stay, like those actually seem reasonable, but notice how those are the expectations that are causing you pain. And if you would just decide that it's your job to show up as the man who knows his value, regardless of what someone else does, you're going to be so much better off.
I think it's that. And then I think it's really getting to the root of why you're not doing the things to spark that romantic connection on the dates. Because I think that would really help you in building a sense of comfort, getting into that next level with somebody you're interested in, rather than staying at the surface. It's like, We need to build rapport on a romantic level. And that's not something most people are used to doing on their day-to-day. You're used to building connections on a friendship level or a professional level, and those look very different than how you would build connections on a romantic level. I think it's understanding what that means and then understanding why you're not doing that.
Yeah. And Sam, we're going to leave you with this. This feeling of rejection that you're experiencing does not mean that you were not enough. It means that you were the mirror that reflected what somebody else wasn't yet ready to match. Keep being the man who leads with honesty, who leads with intention, and the right woman won't need a lesson to be able to recognize that. She's looking for that. If she's done the personal work, if she's created self-awareness and has done the introspective work to know what it is that she's looking for, she's going to recognize it the minute she sees it. Stay in your lane and keep doing the work on yourself. And eventually you're going to intersect. You're going to come to an intersection.
Okay.
Staying in your lane. He's in his lane. She's in her lane. And they're going to come to an intersection.
When we get good at editing, we're going to have to start putting a drawing board on our YouTube videos so that people can follow where your mind is going.
This whole thing was supposed to have a drawing board. Remember when we were first coming up with the ideas of Just Ask Her and we had the football play-by-play element going with the X's and the O's? I don't think it's a bad idea. I think you might be onto something. Could we please get a sign first? Maybe this space is where the drawing should go. We should be like XXOO.
True.
Run for a pass. True. Or whatever field goal.
Anybody that watches our YouTube or Spotify podcast episodes instead of listening to it, I mean, if you've been sitting here judging the pathetic background that we've had since we started Just Ask Her, it did look a little bit different before, and
Better.
Now it looks worse. And feel free to drop suggestions for things that you'd like to. If anybody's in the signage business, you just let us know.
It's gotten so bad that my mom, Grandma, has said, buy the sign.
Yeah,
could you guys please just pick out a sign?
Yeah.
Every single time I see her, which I'm going to go pick her up tomorrow and take her to lunch, the first thing she's going to ask is, have you got the sign yet?
Oh my gosh.
Hey there. If you're loving the Just Ask Her podcast, please take a quick second to rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps more awesome listeners like you find the show. And don't forget to spread the love by sharing this episode with all of your friends. All right, back to Just Ask Her.
Submission 3 is from Alex. After being married for 10 years, I am now divorced because my ex-wife came out as a lesbian. We are now on good terms and remain friends. Should I be honest with an interested woman about the reason for our divorce, or should I give vague answers about her finding herself? My ex-wife is fine with me sharing the truth, but I don't want or need pity. I'm just happy to be meeting new people. I trust that the right woman will not make a big deal about it. I'm a 39-year-old digital delivery specialist from Kansas City, Missouri. I enjoy DIY projects such as working on cars, houses, and cooking. And I also do Pilates and like to socialize with friends and family. Thank you for your time. I feel like that last part was like a dating app profile. If we have any women listening who like men who do DIY projects and Pilates and likes to socialize with friends, meet Alex.
Yeah.
No, this was such a good submission. I admire how Alex has handled such.
I love how he talks about this.
When he said, should I be honest with interested women about the reason for our divorce, or should I give a vague answer about her finding herself? I'm like, isn't her finding herself an honest answer? And I think
this is such a normal fear, and it comes up so often, whether it's past relationships, your past experiences with dating, how much you've dated in the past, whether it's your career or whatever. There's always things in your life that you think about, like, how is somebody that I date going to think about this? That is just not your job to figure out. They're going to think about it however they want to think about it at the end of the day. And the right women, the mature women that are interested in you are not going to see this as a problem. They're not going to make it a problem. It might be an adjustment. It might be something that out of the gate, depending on how it's talked about, it might be something that she has questions on. But the women who are serious about finding a relationship about dating and exploring. I was trying to put myself in those shoes of like, what would I do if somebody told me this was their past? And honestly, I liked the person. I wouldn't make this a problem.
Yeah. I think the fact that him and his ex-wife remain friends says a lot about his emotional IQ and his ability to really hold space for all of life's unexpected twists and turns.
It's honestly, in a weird way, one of the best case scenarios. You can stay friends with your ex and have somebody to vouch for you that is completely unbiased. She doesn't have any feelings for you. And she's not a threat. Like to other women that you date, like this woman is not, your ex is not a threat anymore. And
homosexuality or homosexual relationships are so mainstream now that I just don't think that it's anything that's going to require a ton of additional background on.
About like, it is how you decide to talk about it. It's how you frame this. And if you were sitting here self-deprecating or even making jokes, I know two people from high school, this exact same situation, except the opposite. It was the guy who ended up being gay. And I know this girl, and I think it comes from a place of feeling embarrassed or insecure about he broke up with her. And they were a couple that everybody looked at and they were like, wow, they're such a good couple. And then he came out. And I know now, like, even to this day, she talks about it in a way that is a little bit self-deprecating and makes jokes about it as a way to protect herself, of course. But even that can be a sign of you not seeing your own value. Somebody that sees their own value is not going to make jokes about this, is not going to try to make light of the situation. You didn't get in a relationship knowing that your wife was a lesbian. It just is what it is at this point. And the fact that you can come out on the other side of this, be so mature about it, and maintain a healthy relationship with her says so much about this. Is only going to be seen as like, wow, I really respect how this man talks about this, how he carries himself and how he doesn't bash her or make jokes at his own expense about the situation. That's when it becomes a red flag to women, something that women start to question. If more people took this stance of being confident in the fact that you can't control your ex's sexuality, this is what it is. You have two options. You either sit and feel bad for yourself and feel ashamed and embarrassed, or you take the other route of this has nothing to do with me and I can hold my head high and my value high and be mature about it. I would expect any partner that I get into a relationship with to
preach.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anytime that you are trying to manipulate or manage how other people perceive you, that is people pleasing right there. So your friend doing the self-deprecating, she's doing that because she's trying to manage how other people think about her or the situation.
She's so caught up in what she thinks other people will think.
Yep.
So many people do this in different areas of their life.
Even Alex in this submission said, I don't want pity and I want to look strong. That too is really teetering on people pleasing. It's kind of people pleasing in disguise. It can be like flirting with people pleasing. When honesty is used, I think
he's on the right path. Like just how he described it in the beginning. Like I do think he is mature and emotionally has a high EQ that like he actually can
tell his story.
Yeah,
from a place of really, I'm at peace with it.
Totally.
And really talk about it with a lot of confidence versus caution.
Totally. Also think I get this question a lot. Like, how soon do you have these types of conversations? How soon do you be vulnerable and open? It's like when it's right. I don't think you need to dump all of this on a first date. If it comes up and somebody asks, it's totally fine. If you feel comfortable enough with this person and you feel like you've built enough rapport, it's totally fine to share what really happened. Or you could go the direction of a vague answer about finding herself. I think that's appropriate for a first date too. The more you develop a relationship with somebody, and the more conversations or topics like this come up, you can share more information about it as you feel comfortable. When you start to try to hide things or avoid the conversation, that's when it becomes sketchy. But if the conversation comes up and there's an appropriate time to share about this, do it. And then in the same breath, don't feel like you need to overshare all of the details right out of the gate either.
So, Alex, I would really look at this not as rejection, not as something to be embarrassed, ashamed, or something that needs to even proceed with caution about. This is your opportunity to redirect the way you're thinking about it, redirect the chapter that you're entering, and really wrap your head around the fact that it's showing that you can love deeply and let go gracefully. You don't have to package a story if you don't want to. You just need to own what feels right to you without any sort of apology. It's all about truth and composure and authenticity. We've said this so many times, but confidence is the ability to trust yourself. So working on what it is that you believe and whether or not you trust that belief, that's when the confidence is going to start to show up. And that's what you lead with. All right. Should we talk about Ireland?
Yes, we should talk about Ireland and finish it out for anybody that's still listening and wanted to hear.
Dave.
Yeah, shout out Dave. Yeah. So one thing going out there is that we work with somebody that lives in Ireland and he obviously has an accent. And then on top of that, he uses phrases that were like, huh? What does that mean? The way they say you, they say ye. It's so funny. Like every time he says it, I'm like, ye. I kind of giggle in my head about it. So going out there, we were like, oh, we should try to pay attention to this and see what phrases are used and things like that. So I'm going to give a couple phrases to you and have you guess what it means. Like phrases that they use in Ireland.
Okay.
Sucking diesel.
Like your car using a lot of gas.
They're not going to be the literal definition. That's the point.
Well, they called gas stations petro stations. Sucking diesel.
It means you're doing well or things are going smoothly. Would it help if I put it in a sentence next time?
Yeah, it would.
Happy out. If somebody says something along the lines of like, oh yeah, I'm happy out.
Like having a good day?
Yeah, content or happy with your current situation. I think we should try to bring some of these over.
No kidding.
It's like taking a piss.
Or,
oh, shite. That was on everything. And I didn't even hear that many people say it.
what we did hear is that's crack.
Yeah.
We heard that a lot.
Do you remember what that means?
That's awesome.
Huh?
Awesome.
Fun or good times. Or it's like people say it in the phrase like, what's the crack?
Or I'm getting cooked or I'm getting roasted.
Okay, that's not an Irish phrase.
It's not?
No, that's because, yeah, that's like the younger generation. Remember we were talking about that?
No, I don't remember talking about that. I had never heard it until I got to Ireland.
The jacks. Do you know what the jacks are? I'm going to the jacks.
Bathroom?
Yeah, the toilet. Knackered.
Drunk?
Tired. Exhausted.
Oh, I'm going to go take a knacker.
Yeah.
I'm knacker. I'm going to go take a nap.
Maybe we shouldn't bring these over because we would just be doing it a disservice.
One of my takeaways, I think the sayings were super interesting. And half the time you don't even know if you heard what you thought you heard because
the entire time I was just sitting there trying to compute what they were saying.
Yeah, like the translation, the time it takes you to translate.
It doesn't even sound like words.
No. And I kept going like this, which was kind of dumb. Didn't make any sense because I was doing this, which probably means like talk quieter. And I was meaning for them to slow down.
When did you do this? I don't think I ever saw you.
That night we were at the bar and you were helping those guys approach that woman.
Okay.
That one guy was just, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, slow down.
Watching, she is turning down a dial with her hands.
And he probably started talking softer. And then it was even harder to understand him.
Yeah. Oh, gra. Do you remember what that means?
Yes.
Love. I got a ring that says gra. It has gra engraved in it. And I also got a little sign that says gra.
Because
it was
it's
like
G-R-A. It's the first three letters of your name. That's why I got it.
What did you get?
I bought it.
I bought the sign and the ring.
Oh. I found it.
Okay.
You bought it.
Yeah. But I thought it was so cute. So fitting for this office. And
maybe that's what we could put up here.
Gra.
The one little sign.
Yeah, literally. Other things that I thought were really interesting about Ireland, I made a pros and cons list of the things like my takeaways from Ireland. I feel like on the pros side, they were the nicest people on the entire planet.
I 100% agree with you.
Like everybody in Ireland.
Okay, but here's the weird thing. We recognize that. And then when we said that to our Irish friends, they said they're like that to people that they don't know. They do not act like that to each other. Isn't that the craziest thing?
I don't know if I believe that.
I mean, we had 2 people tell us that
I only remember
at the bus station. That woman said when we sit at the dinner table,
that was her family. That was specific to their family.
aren't those people that are close to you, your family?
Yeah, but also I think that's kind of a thing here too. Like you're nicer to strangers.
I'm not.
Really? Really? Yeah, says the woman that tries to pull the emotional overlap for the guy that's cheating.
Yeah, because if somebody did that to me, I'd freaking slaughter them.
Yeah, exactly.
Throat punch them.
Exactly. So we are nicer to strangers. And I guess to rephrase, you're nicer to strangers, especially when there's something to be gained in the interaction. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Right?
I suppose. Yep.
So it does make sense from that standpoint that everybody was just nice. We're strangers, obviously, and we're not from Ireland. So maybe that's what it was. But I don't care. I'll take it. Those people were so sweet. Everywhere we went, people were so generous. They were so helpful. It was such a different experience. When I studied in Italy, I felt very welcomed. But there were places in Italy sometimes that felt like they don't really give a shit. Like
Rome.
Florence was very welcoming. I felt like that everywhere we went. Like everywhere we went, all the workers, all like Uber drivers. Yeah. People were just so helpful and kind and they wanted to talk to you. They would just strike up conversations out of nowhere, complete strangers.
Yep. For context, we spent most of our time in Belfast, which is Northern Ireland, and then only a very short amount of time in
Dublin. The nicest people ever. It's also beautiful. I think we have a different appreciation for it because it, in some cases, kind of felt like home. It was just beautiful. It was like fall weather. And Minnesota is just known for having beautiful fall weather. And that's what we're getting right now. And so to go over there and have the same thing, have it feel so homey. And the other thing was it was overcast pretty much the whole time, but it didn't rain. It was like moody. Such a cozy vibe the entire time. They make jokes about that. The Uber driver was like, yeah, we have summer once every 3 years here. That's the weather usually. I loved that. I put moody weather. And then I also said really good shopping.
I agree.
Yeah. And day one, we
had to go buy an extra suitcase
because of how much we shopped.
Because going out there, I was already 16 pounds overweight and they charged me $100. And so I'm like, this is not good.
I roll into the airport and she's making jokes with the Delta worker right before you get into the baggage claim or the baggage drop line. And she's like, which line should I go to? Which one do you think is going to be most kind about this? And I'm like, I have no idea. We got there at separate times. I don't know what she's talking about. We get to the front of the line. She's like, yeah, I'm definitely overweight. Like, we're pretty sure this is 75 pounds. And I was like, are you insane? Like, you're coming to the airport knowing that? And then she's flabbergasted by the fact that they charge her $100 for an overweight bag. It's like, you know the rules. Like, these are the rules. They've always been. You said 60.
No, I think it's 75. It can't be 75. That's 25 pounds more.
No.
I think it's 70. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yes, I had a $100 fee. So I was going to make sure that that did not happen on the way back. And we have extra luggage that we can check.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Could have just carrying 2 bags.
We ended up having to carry 2 bags anyways.
On the way home, not on the way there, which was hugely helpful. Okay, what are your cons?
The cons were strange smell when you walked into restaurants.
Yep.
Like really strange. I don't really know how to describe it.
Like something between fish and mushrooms.
It's just not a good combo. Like it's like a dull, it's still
striking,
but enough that you know you're going to leave this place smelling like whatever that is.
Every restaurant had it.
It was so strange. No hate. They probably don't even notice the smell anymore. You were like, what the hell is that? So that was weird. Beer tastes like beer. I don't know why people try to convince you that like best beer in the entire world, Guinness, doesn't taste like, no, it tastes like beer. It tastes exactly like beer. Yeah, no, it literally just tastes like beer. If you're not a beer drinker, don't go to Ireland thinking that you're going to like the beer. You're not going to like it. I also said weird food. I feel like we didn't have a normal meal anywhere. Filling up on potatoes, like the most massive potato wedges, or fish.
And the fish, I mean, because it's fish and chips, so it's fried. I never felt great after I ate a big meal because it was so heavy.
I don't really know what I expected the food to be. I don't think I really had expectations for the food. We also weren't really coastal, which I think
Some is on the coast.
Yeah, but like main coastal places that are known for the good fish and stuff like that.
Yeah. It probably would have been different had we not eaten all the fried stuff.
But it felt like anywhere we went, like there just wasn't like normal meals on the menus. Like our first day, we were all out of whack because we slept 13 hours. We went the entire day without eating.
We went 2 days without eating.
Part of it was because nothing sounded appetizing.
I took a picture of one of the menus because there was not one thing on there that even made a lick of sense. Remember how weird the names were? It's like you have no clue what you're about to order.
I wouldn't go for the food. And then the last one I said was jet lag. That's the worst jet lag I think I've ever had, ever.
I agree.
So hard to get on a sleeping schedule. We were there for an entire week and I didn't feel like I had a good night's sleep at all for one night even.
And yet it felt like we spent half our time sleeping, which is so weird.
It was just so out of whack. It was really hard to adjust to. And then coming back, we're just overly exhausted from having a weird sleep schedule and waking up at 3 a.m. and then trying to fall back. Like it just was weird. And then coming back, we both get sick because our bodies are just so out of whack. Our Oura rings were literally...
What in the hell have you done to your body?
Major signs of stress. Yeah. And I just feel like I've always been somebody that like I have to have good sleep or I get sick. And so it's like that does take kind of the fun out of traveling somewhere when you know you're not going to sleep good.
I agree.
But overall, I would go back.
I would too.
And I would just plan differently, knowing what to expect.
I have to say, the Titanic exhibit was so awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea that the Titanic was even built in Belfast. I had no idea that it was built in Ireland, for one.
But I've always loved the love story around the Titanic.
Well, it wasn't a true story though, right?
I don't think so. I think that story is fictional, but the actual, obviously, the sinking of the Titanic is one of the biggest plots. And of course, they have found it. What was it, 1980?
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
It was in the 90s.
I don't know, but it just really started to pique my interest going through that. So interesting. And it was
and then you can watch the documentary.
We went through the exhibit, so we learned all about the making of the ship, how it launched from Belfast, went to London, picked up quite a few passengers, and then was heading to New York to pick up even more passengers and never made it. It was its maiden voyage, and it was supposed to be the unsinkable ship. They showed us how they could make that claim. And so when I got home...
That was supposed to be unsinkable. But they also showed us all of the measures that were not taken that should have been taken.
Were kind of the perfect storm, which was outside of the mechanics.
But it wasn't even really a perfect storm. There were things that...
Not literally. I'm saying all the little dynamics.
I know. Maybe it's in hindsight, right? Like not having enough lifeboats on board and things that actually could have saved people's lives that should have been a consideration before setting sea with 1,700 people on board. It's like there's things that like should have been considered before, but obviously that's how life works. You don't learn these things until you go through horrible situations like this. It's a really hard lesson to learn that they needed all of these safety precautions and things on board for in case there is a disaster like this. But yeah, it was interesting to see them lay out all the different protective measures.
When we came home, I was going to watch the movie, and then I found a documentary that came out in 2025 about finding the sunken ship. They have been able to use digital cameras to reconstruct a digital version, and they call it its twin. And so they can literally make it life size on a screen and walk around it.
Is the documentary good?
Yeah, it's kind of short. It's only on the sunken ship. Did you get the text that I sent you, the TikTok? No,
the simulation.
London has an exhibit.
Yeah, that was the second stop. They went from Belfast to London to pick up the second round of people. And then it was supposed to be London to New York. They were heading to New York. This is all stuff that they probably told us in school. I don't know any of it. I'm just relearning it for the first time. For anybody else that is not a history buff like me, that was the plan. It was Belfast. They stopped one other place. I can't remember where it was. Then London, and then London was they were supposed to end up in New York. Halfway between London and New York is where they hit the iceberg. Have an exhibit in London as well.
Yeah, but that is more of an interactive.
Immersive experience.
Immersive. I'm like, what's that word?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look it up on TikTok if you are at all interested, St. George's Market was definitely worth it. It's only open on the weekend.
It's like a little farmer's market.
The Causeway is what everybody tells you.
Giant causeway.
What did I just say? Causeway?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what everybody tells you to do. And of course, we did not do that because we didn't have the means to do it. So we have a reason to go back. But
yeah,
there you have it. There is lots of banter.
It's literally going to be our OGs that have been here since the beginning that are just listening to this anyways,
Grandma.
You guys. Glad you put this at the end. All right, that's all we've got for you for this episode. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Dating with Gracie. We put out new episodes every single Wednesday, so you can look forward to those. And in the meantime, no matter where you are or what your situation is, just ask her.